Before this story begins, take a moment to honor a woman who carried a century of truth on her shoulders. In 1921, Viola Ford Fletcher was just 7 years old when her world changed forever. She lived in Greenwood, a thriving black neighborhood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a place known as Black Wall Street, famous for its wealth, businesses, schools, and community pride. It was one of the richest black communities in America. But on the night of May 31st, 1921, everything she knew was destroyed. A false accusation led to rising tensions in Tulsa, and within hours, angry white mobs flooded into Greenwood. What followed was one of the worst acts of racial violence in U.S. history, the Tulsa Race Massacre. Homes were burned, businesses destroyed, families shot at as they ran. Planes reportedly flew overhead, dropping explosives. Survivors, including children, fled into the woods with nothing. Viola, only 7 years old, remembered waking to screams, the smell of smoke, and people running for their lives. Her family escaped the flames, but everything they owned was gone in a single night. They never received justice. They never received compensation. Violence erased a community that took decades to build. For the rest of her life, Viola carried those memories that America tried to bury. But she did not remain silent. More than 100 years later, at age 107, she testified before Congress. Her voice was soft, but every word carried the weight of history. She described the night her childhood ended, the terror she witnessed, and how her family lived in poverty afterward because everything had been stolen from them. She became the face of a fight for recognition, justice, and reparations. And now, after living 111 years, Viola Ford Fletcher, the oldest living survivor of the Tulsa Race Massacre, has passed away. She lived long enough to see the world finally talk about the tragedy she survived. She spent her last years telling her story so the world would never forget what happened to her people. Her life reminds us of two things: that silence does not erase truth, and that even the smallest voice can carry a century of history. Viola Ford Fletcher was not just a witness. She was the final living bridge to one of America's darkest nights. Her voice made sure history could never be erased. May we honor her memory by never forgetting her story.